So the next one is a disguise technique. So if we go back to indirect disguise technique, where the purpose is not revealed to the informant, respondent. Please understand that in in-depth interview, the respondent is called key informant, and he is not somebody representative of the population. He or she is the one who has most information about the topic you want to research. Right. Now in the indirect techniques, which are disguised, either you do not state the purpose or you state it very broadly that they are not able to guess the purpose of your research. So the techniques are called projective techniques. In the exploratory research, the techniques that are disguised in nature, they are called projective techniques. Now, as the name implies, the name itself implies projection. So, can you make sense of what it would be? Projective techniques through this cartoon.
The child is actually feeling.
Right. So, the respondent projects their feelings, emotions, motivations onto an object or onto somebody else. But say it is not me, but it is him or her. So, projective techniques, they are also one of the method to dive deep into hidden motivations, emotions, feelings about a particular topic, brand, and so on. The idea is that people speak truth when they are given a mask. That is the idea. That if you do not give them a mask, they might do a lot of accounting, mental accounting, which means they will discount some of their behaviors, their emotions, feelings, and they will not speak the truth. But when given a mask, they will speak the truth. Right? For example, if you want to get real answers to your questions, you might have to use projective techniques. Now, there are many sorts of projective techniques where you give the mask to the respondent in many different ways and tell them to answer for a particular situation, story, or something. One of the ways is third person technique. There are some that I am going to show you here, but there are some which are not part of this slide. One is called third person technique. In third person, you ask the respondent that why did your neighbor got a new car, or instead of asking him or her about their own individual behavior, you ask them about somebody they know or somebody else who would have done the similar sort of behavior, and then you ask them then why they think these people did that behavior. So for example, my child goes to a certain school. There are two of my friends, their children also go to the same school. Right? If somebody wants to know why I am sending my kid to a particular school, and I, over the top, I would just say that if somebody asks that the school is good, right? I might not want to give more information or get into the deeper part of why I am sending the kid over there. But if you say why he is sending his kid to this particular school, I might actually reveal more about it. The idea is sometimes people when say that you have to project certain behavior for somebody else, they might reveal the truth rather than when they have to speak for themselves. So again, for every topic it would not work. There are certain sensitive topics which people would not straight away answer. So for that you would have to use this third person technique.
Third person technique is a variant of projective technique.
Yes, it is a type of projective technique. So third person technique, there is another technique called space or sci-fi or space travel technique. In that technique, there is certain objective for which these techniques are used. In that sci-fi or space travel technique, what we do is we tell the respondent to close, we take respondent to a comfortable, relaxing atmosphere which is not very well lighted, and say that the respondent has to close the eyes and then say that imagine that you are going to a space flight to the planet Raymond, to the planet planet Raymond, or a product category, planet toothbrush, planet laptop. So you are packed up and your journey is going to start, and you are just going to reach that planet. Just keep closing your eyes. You are going to reach that planet, and you reach that planet. What do you see? Who is there? Let's say it is about the planet Raymond. If you close your eyes and start reflecting, thinking about it, you might say, I see a very, handsome man suited in the Raymond suit to greet me. So you will talk more about what do you associate Raymond with, the emotions, the people, the settings, the ideas, the brand imagery will come out of it. So it is a technique used by the market research consultants to know what people associate different brands with, what are their emotions, what they think of them, what associated, what associations comes to their mind when they. So one way is this one, where instead of doing the survey, you make them, do this thing, you do the space travel thing, projective technique, and get to know the associations for particular brands. This is very useful for knowing how people feel, think, their emotions, their image about a particular brand, and so on. There is another technique called funeral technique, where you tell the respondent that you take up any brand, let's say Raymond itself. For example, I love Raymond, I do not have anything against. So let's say you tell the respondent that suppose to the target audience or whatever your audience is, Raymond brand dies and you have gone to the funeral. What do you see there? Which all other brands have come? What are they doing? Some are laughing, let's say. Some are somewhere behind, they are not so sad. So which means people think they are the competitors of Raymond. So if you want to know who are the competitors of Raymond, you would get to know the answer. Others who are crying, who are sad, which means they associate those brands, things closely with Raymond. What would you want to write in the obituary? Let's say, for what you think or for what you would want to remember Raymond about, for what thing you would want that you see that the Raymond will be remembered forever. So these kind of things in the funeral projective technique you do. Again, the idea is to get deeper into customer feeling, motivations, their imagery, their mental imagery about a particular brand, which is very, very difficult in a survey. There is a fourth technique called character technique. Now in the character technique, now what I would tell you is let's pick up a particular brand. Let's pick up, sorry, any brand that many of you see, not laptop, maybe some hedonic brand, more of emotional sort of brand. Let's say Apple, okay? Sorry, Manyavar. Who is going to become Dulha? Okay, let's say Manyavar, okay? So what I would request you to is to close your eyes first. Everybody should close their eyes to make me do this technique, which is a character technique. So all of you please close your eyes for this technique to go forward. So imagine Manyavar as a person. Close your eyes, just imagine Manyavar as a person. Think of whether that person is a male or a female. What is the gender? What is the age of that person that you see? What is the physical build of that person that you see? How does that person look? What do you think that person would be good doing at? What kind of sports that person would play? Now, this is a character, and then you could also talk about, slowly get into what is the celebrity that you closely associate that person with. So likewise, you have to slowly get deeper into the emotional aspects of that particular brand, and this exercise is again done by qualitative research consultants. You might see that these are very little funny techniques. These are very difficult to execute and very strong, because the kind of insight that these techniques could bring, you would never imagine getting those insights through any other method. But one has to master using these techniques. There is another technique where you say that, for example, let's say Manyavar again. Let's say if Manyavar has to be an item in your refrigerator, where you think you will keep it? In the freezer, at the first shelf, second shelf? Why would you keep it there? So you would ask at a certain place, why do you keep it here? They say, because I would have to regularly use it. So you might, or I would keep it in a corner, nothing around it, because it is very special. So you try to relate it with things to find out why Manyavar is important or not important to somebody. These are indirect, that's what, they might look funny, but these are the ones which will get you more information. And emotional information people associate with different brands. Then there are techniques where, let's say, there is a sensitive topic which people feel very difficult to talk about. What one could do is tell the respondent that when they come for the interview, bring with them a picture that describe their experience or feelings or thinking about a particular product category or a brand. So which means they will bring the picture without directly speaking to you. They will bring that picture, and then you might want them to explain a little bit more without directly telling about the product category. That is another way where, so DuPont did this research with for one of the product, and they identified certain issues related to one of their product. So you tell them to bring certain pictures, paintings or whatever which they feel closely associate with a particular product category or a product or a brand they use. They will bring it. You would use pictures to identify the issues, their experiences or the issues that they have with the current product. Now again, this is a difficult technique. One has to do it many times to master it. There is also a party technique where you say that, let's say Pepsi is throwing a party and every other brand has come. Who is hanging out with Pepsi? What Coke says to Pepsi? Where is the party? So people are projecting their feelings about different brands that they would not tell you if you ask straight away. Their answers will be very boring. Or sometimes hidden the answer will be accounted, mentally accounted answers that you don't want.
So ultimately, we exploit our tendency for storytelling to extract the insights.
No, the idea is you want to get to the root of or the cause of certain behavior, so that you know people buy your brand or what people think of your brand. Let's say if your brand is trying to give a image, particular image, but you see that people are thinking of your brand as something different, not what do you want to project. That is one of the reasons why sales are low. For some brands, image is very important. Let's say you are selling a product to youngsters, but the image of it is not young. That you found out through these techniques. It is very difficult to find out from other techniques, but these are very, very insightful. There is a word association technique as well. Word association is another projective technique where you say certain words about a particular product category. So let's say you want to find out the associations or the, let's say, what different people in your target market or in your population think about green tea. So you would not directly ask them, what do you think about green tea? What you would do is, you would give them different words. In word association, you will give them different words, not directly related. So there will be words that are fillers. Fillers means those are neutral words or will not related to the topic green tea. But there would be certain words that would be related to green tea as a product category. So you will tell them that let's play a game. If I say a word, within 3 seconds you have to tell another word that comes to your mind. So likewise, you play a game with different people in the population, you will get to know whether there are different kind of people who associate differently with your product category. You might find some who would say green tea as bitter, we don't want to consume anything like green tea. You might get another set of people who would say it is very healthy. You would find out the third category who know it is bitter, but they are more, they say you have to give up something to get something. So we are ready, we drink, but we don't like it. So you see there is an issue. There is a target market that does not want to consume green tea because of bitterness. So can you, new product development, can you improve that bitterness? Can you bring in something which is healthy and could still improve the taste, so that this target market buys or uses it more frequently? So you could actually use it for many different purposes. So this is one of the example which is given for a detergent brand, for a detergent company. So the stimulus words are given. Wash day, when it was asked to Mrs. M and Mrs. C, they had to tell something within 3 seconds, and these are the words that Mrs. M said to the stimulus and Mrs. C. And if you see, both have different attitude when it comes to cleaning. Mrs. M, she says, wash day, every day, fresh and sweet, pure air, scrub, don't, husband does. Filth, this neighborhood, bubbles, bath, family squabbles, towels dirty. So her attitude towards cleaning is not very positive. It is, she has given up. She, and the, if we look at Mrs. C, she is wash day ironing, fresh clean, pure soiled, scrub clean, filth dirt. She is ready to fight the dirt with soap, detergents and so on. So you know, there are, in your target market, there are people who have different attitude towards washing. It might be useful to your product category. So likewise, this is one of the method. This is sentence completion. You give an incomplete sentence about a product category and tell the respondent to complete it. So this is about ATM machine. What I like about ATM is you give it fill to the respondents to fill it up and they will fill it. This is story completion. After sentence, you can give a story and let them build you give a starter, you initiate the story and tell them to complete the story. They will do it based upon what they think, they feel about ATM machines. For example, this is another where cartoon test, where you give the respondent this cartoon and tell them to fill in that bubble what this girl would be thinking. Let's say it is about, she is looking at her Facebook account and she is thinking something. Now, when you project your thoughts or ideas, you would fill up that bubble. It is your ideas, not hers, but it will be asked as what she is thinking. So likewise, you could do it with other product categories as well. Let's say it's a carbonated drinks, somebody is standing and you say what she is going to do next. She has, put her hand, which brand she is going to take and why. So give a bubble and they will fill it up instead of directly asking.
There are other techniques where you want to see how people, what are the uh, humanistic traits of particular brands, or what are the characteristics.
So in certain brand image studies, one of the ways is for particular brand, you ask about, let's say in this case Coca-Cola, if Coca-Cola was an animal, instead of that, if you ask if Coca-Cola was a celebrity, which celebrity it would be and why. So you would be able to identify the characteristic that people associate with a particular brand. So that is another way of identifying the characteristic people associate with certain brands, their image, brand image.